Hey everybody, Tekking101 here, and for today's review of Zombie Powder Chapter number 9, I will be enjoying a Krabby Patty. Alright, so let's get right into it. Alright, so last chapter pretty much, if I can get into the Krabby Patty. Well, that was kind of a fail. Okay, anyway, so last chapter we left off on the end of the Grid Geller arc, or the end of the Ash Daughter arc, with Gamma defeating Rainwater Calder and reclaiming the second Ring of the Dead. So now they have 2 out of the 12 that are known, so just 10 left, I guess. And this is starting a brand new story arc, so let's just get right into it. We open up on... I don't know how else to explain this. We open up on this group of guys about to rape this woman. Kind of a sudden impact jarred into this chapter, but I can't really come up with anything else. They don't make it auspicious whether they're going to do it or not. The chapter literally opens with this girl screaming for her life. And this guy he's taking off his shirt, and he's just like, sit down, it'll go a lot faster if you just shut up and just deal with it and stop struggling. And he's right about to do some stuff that is kind of bad, but we don't get to see anything too sick or demented. The guy immediately hears a voice from behind him that just says, "Scoop," with like a very cutesy accent to it. And the guy turns around, and in the window, he sees this woman. She's hanging upside down from the window, like I don't know if she's hanging from the gutter or something. She pulls out this camera and just starts taking pictures of these guys, and she just like wastes no time to introduce herself. She takes like 3 or 4 pictures, and everyone's just like, "Who the fuck are you?" This woman just hanging there. It's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you asked. I am a journalist of justice, aka justice journalist," which is, the Kubo makes a little note that says, yeah, that's the same thing. It's just a very long blown discussion. I imagine she would be up on the roof with, I don't know, like a bungee cord or something strapped to her ankles, and she's just up there like memorizing like index cards, like, okay, like, nice question, hello, I'm introduction, okay, pause for this, take a couple pictures. I imagine she planned this entry. So then she announces she tells them what her name is, Wolfgangia Lala Ghetto. I think I'm getting that right. Doesn't really matter though, because she immediately says, "Just call me Wolfina." So Wolfina, that's a pretty badass name, and she is of course also the woman from the title page, as seen right here next to Smith, the one that was, I thought she was holding a camera or something, so that all makes sense there. So she is, her name is Wolfgangia Lalagekto, and she is a journalist, apparently. So she takes a couple pictures of these guys, leaves a nice little autograph, and then she just ducks away. We have like 4 guys here that are about to do terrible things for a woman. Oh, by the way, the woman got away. Yeah, during Wolfina's distraction, the woman managed to get away. So good for her. That's good that she didn't end up getting raped in a terrible fashion by like 4 dudes. Like right there, this panel says it all, really. And of course, the main leader of the guy we first see, he's just like, "What are you guys doing after her?" Of course, right? But you have to figure, as soon as this woman pops down in the window, these guys are all just like, "Who's that?" And then we have to listen to her introduction. They're all doing that. I think in any other situation, it would probably go like this. Probably just go like, "Hi, I'm Justless Joe." Oh, holy shit! In this world filled with guns, I'm just bringing a little bit of realism to it. But it was a very cutesy way to introduce this character. And then again, I guess if you just saw a woman just appear at your window, you would be a little bit like, what, going on? So interesting way of introduction. And we cut immediately to the title page, which is wowza. Oh wow, that's she has really enormous hair, a lot of hair. Yeah, check her hair out. Yeah, that is. Yeah, well, hey, at least we know what the inspiration was for Rangiku now, so, that was always good to know. And we got the obligatory big-breasted woman. We always need to have one. It's a Shounen manga. You have to have one chick with enormously disproportionate boobs. It's just how it goes, alright? Bleach, we had Rangiku. Naruto, we have Tsunade. One Piece... One Piece. We have a couple of options there. We have Nami and Robin plus any other random woman that's introduced during the arc. you know, Fairy Tail is once again Fairy Tail. Well, that Fairy Tail is not in Shonen Jump, but it's you know, you understand. So hey, it's interesting too because you know Kubo's, you know, I mean he has Orihime in the new one, but Orihime doesn't really. She doesn't dress like this, you know. She doesn't dress like this in Bleach. But I was gonna say first main character liking this, but you know I've paid more attention on this chick's boobs than I probably should have. So I'm just gonna move on. I'm sure we're never going to reference them again. All right, so we get the title Tripod of Justice. All right, so then we cut to a completely new location that we've never seen before. It's a new town. It's called Alcatara, and it's at 1:40 p.m. I don't know why Kubo gives us the time. I mean, he gave us the time. He did this at the beginning of Bleach. You know, he's a Karakura town, you know, month, date, time, but that was only on the first chapter. He stopped immediately after that. This is like each and every arc he's starting with this new one. Anyway, this town looks pretty cool. It's like underneath this giant like plateau, like mesa formation that has like this awesome like a kind of like a ceiling of rock that's like over this town. So that's pretty cool. We cut to this place. We cut to an inn called Bernie's Inn, where Smith and Elwood are just kind of hanging out in this hotel room, and Smith is reading a tabloid magazine, and inside the tabloid magazine we see the picture of the gang members that were just in the beginning of the chapter that Wolfina took a picture of. So we can assume this is a couple, maybe weeks or so after that initial point, because of course, you know how to get it published in the magazine. Magazine had to be released, you know, like serialized and everything. So this, though, we see the image is a little bit changed now. We see the guy that was originally the leader of the gang is now dressed like, basically as a dominatrix, and that's what Smith calls him. You know, Smith's just reading this magazine. He's just like, hey, Elwood, check this out. The boss of this desert gang, I guess his name is Sakamandero. He's a dominatrix, and Elwood's just looking at him, just like, who cares? You know, you're reading that, you know, that smut that it's just a tabloid magazine. Like, this is the kind of shit you'd see at Walmart. It's like, Bat Boy lives again, you know, or Bat Boy has children, you know. Remember those? I don't even know if they still make those. You go into Walmart or like any kind of, you know, grocery store, and you'd always see this insane cover. I'd always want to buy them when I was a little kid growing up because the stories in them were always so interesting. Just like, new planet discovered, you know, strange green men coming to invade Earth, you know, you need to know this to survive the zombie apocalypse, that sort of stuff. It was really crazy. My husband is a ghost, you know, it's crazy stuff, but I'd always want to buy them. And the funny thing was that my mom or my dad never bought them because from their perspective, they always looked at these things just like they're smut, they're filth, it's not actual stories. But at the same time, I was like 6. Like, if you would have bought these, I probably would have read them, and I probably would be generally interested in reading them because they're complete bullshit, but they're really interesting and creative bullshit. But hey, they're still a lot better than half the crap you can find at the stores now, because half the magazines you see on the rack now are just like, Kim Kardashian's baby! We're gonna be there 24/7 covering every single time she has to change a diaper. You know, that's interesting. Does Kim have a baby? I don't fucking care. Anyway, so, you know, they're watching this, and they're just hanging out in this hotel room, really. They're playing cards, and Elwood and Smith's funny, because Elwood's, you know, just like, you know, what do you got? I guess they're playing poker, and Elwood's just like, I got 2 pair, and Smith's just like, oh yeah, I got 4 of a kind. I'm like, that's bullcrap. That's 3 straight turns in poker. In 7 card, I guess, 5 card, I guess they're playing 5 card poker, that you've gotten 4 of a kind. That's ridiculous. And Smith's just like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. It's just a coincidence with me. I'm just really lucky. And that's going back to the whole thing, like everything Smith does, he's just really lucky and everything. So it just starts freaking out, and he's just like, oh my god, no, you're cheating, goddammit, someone call the police. You know, just comic relief. And Smith just picks up the cards. I guess he starts dealing again. He's just like, wow, Gamma sure is late. He's been gone for a while. You know, we've been, you know, don't know where he is. And so we cut over to Gamma at some other place in the town, and he's talking on a public phone. They have payphones, I guess. And he's talking like to this unknown woman he's talking to, and he's just like, look, we've been hanging out in this town, Alcatara, for like a week now, and you're the one that gave us information about a ring being here, and I'm not finding it. It's apparently nothing in this town. And you know, apparently this woman on the other line's just like, you know, I guess she wants to get paid, and Gamma's like arguing with her about, you know, the location of this Ring of the Dead as well as being paid, and until he eventually just hangs up the phone, and he's just like, that stupid girl, I'm always missing out with these, at the last second with these info suppliers, I guess. So I guess Gamma has a larger network of people to help him out with this search for the Rings of the Dead than originally assumed. Like, the first chapter he showed up, we all thought he was just like a wanderer, you know, a drifter just trying to find these things. Apparently he has a lot of people that he can help. You know, he has Smith as his partner. He has other people like info brokers that apparently know a lot about this stuff that he's been acquainted with for a very long time. So apparently the interesting thing for me is that they've just been hanging out in this town for a week, you know. I wish we would have got to see a little bit more of that. I mean, I understand they're just probably doing nothing, just chilling out at a hotel room, but it'd be cool to see. Like, all the gang, like, to see how Elwood and Smith are getting along. Which is cool. I mean, they're basically saying, like, that was a lot of gummy. I don't know if I'm going to keep eating those. But, yeah, I mean, they just seem like more like brothers at this point. Like, Elwood and Smith are starting to really bond a little bit, so that's interesting. Okay, so going back to Gamma, he's, like, walking back to the hotel. I guess he got groceries. He started to eat, and he's just complaining about, like, oh, God, freaking women, you know, they always wuss out at the last time. It's always annoying. So, just as he's saying, you know, women suck, essentially, he starts hearing footsteps from the top of this building, and all of a sudden, Wolfina just jumps off of this roof and just comes flying directly at him, and you could just, you know, like, Gamma's expression says it all. I mean, you're just walking down the street, you know, after you get some McDonald's, you're just walking back to your car, all of a sudden, just, there is a woman with gigantic jugs flying right at, oh! Best concussion ever. Anyway, so she lands square on Gamma, basically used him as a doormat. You can see some blood coming from his face, and he just looks like he's unconscious. And then we see a little diagram of like little arrows pointing at all the shit that she's carrying. Like, she has her tripod next to her, which is like 8 kilograms, which is like close to probably like 8 kilograms. I think that's like, what, like 16 pounds or something like that. You know, her bag is another 20 pounds, and, you know, just in general, she's heavy, although I think you should have added a couple more arrows here and here, Kubo. But yeah, anyway, she's pretty peppy, though. She seems pretty cool about, you know, landing square on a guy. And gets right off of him and just like, sorry, later. And, you know, Gamma just grabs her foot as she gets up and she trips again. And Gamma stands up. It's like, what the fuck, bitch? What the actual fuck? You know, I'm just walking home and all of a sudden you just jump on me and you're like, okay, see ya. And she's like, well, what else am I supposed to say? I said sorry. I'm like, you landed on me. I was not expecting that. You're like, my nose is bleeding. I deserve a little bit more than that. So they just keep arguing. And then it's very clear that Wolfina's in a hurry, though, and then you just see this, like, the ground next to them just kind of explodes as if it, you know, it got shot by a bullet, and Gamma, and they just instantly stop arguing. They just look back, and apparently the guy that Wolfina took the pictures for, Sacramento, he's right behind them. He's riding on this freaking giant ATV battle desert vehicle, like from freaking Dune, and he has his entire posse next to him all rounded up, and he's just like, I finally found you, Wolfina! It's taken 2 weeks, but I'm finally here to get you back for those pictures. So, I mean, if nothing else, this guy, he takes a grudge pretty damn seriously. I mean, apparently, Wolfina not only took the pictures from him and posted them in this magazine, but she also doctored them to make him look like a dominatrix. Now, one has to wonder why a legitimate news organization like a newspaper, and these people, you cannot say they don't have newspapers when they have tabloid magazines and freaking telephones, why they would not be interested in, hey, this gang tried to rape this woman out in the desert. Does anyone want to hear about that story? No, okay, I'll bring it to the tabloids or whatever. So, you know, she doctors this picture, and apparently because she made this guy look like a dominatrix, you know, apparently 2/3 of this guy's gang just up and left. And even some of the guys that are still with him start laughing, like giggling, like, he masters a queen. Which, dude, I don't know about you, but if Sacramento was a chick and then you found out your boss was a dominatrix, I think that she maybe would have gathered more in that situation. But that's just coming from a guy that actually knows somebody who's like that, who also happens to be my boss. I should probably just shut up right now. Anyway, so Wolfina goes on this big monologue. She's not even paying attention to them guys behind her. You know, they got battle vehicles. They got like 30 dudes all armed to the teeth. They're ready to just basically curb stomp these guys. And Wolfina just turns and looks in the opposite direction, like toward the sunset or something, and it's just like, against those dirty methods to attack the weak, I will use even dirtier methods to crush him. That is my justice, the justice of journalism. I like this chick already. I really honestly do. Now, get ready for this one. Now, guess what her weapon is? This is fucking great. This is Kubo. This was really good, okay? This was clever. Her weapon, like, the prime weapon she uses to fight against bad guys, being totally serious here, is her tripod. The thing that, you know, you put cameras on to, you know, just keep level. Yeah, she figured a whole much cooler use for that. And you might think, like, no duh, because the chapter title gives it away, the tripod of justice. I thought that was, like, symbolism or, like, allegory. Like, oh, the tripod is, like, reminiscent how journalism will triumph over evil instead of brute force. It's kind of like the pen is mightier than the sword, that kind of thing. Like, if this chapter was titled the pen of truth, I would, just suspect, oh, writing journalism that is stronger than actual brute force. I didn't think she would actually use a pen as a weapon, but hey, tripod! And you know what? This tripod, Wolfina, is badass. Like, these guys come at her, like, for some reason they don't have guns. Like, the guy, Sacramento, used, like, an assault rifle to, like, shoot holes in the ground, but every other member of his gang just uses, like, pipes and, like, makeshift weapons. They look like they just picked up out of the desert. But they all come at Wolfina, and Wolfina is just, like, judoing, like, I don't know, like, what's it kind of do? Like, like, bow staff, that kind of battle arts. This one guy, she's just like, bang, 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 whacking these guys in the fucking face with her tripod. Like, look, this thing is pretty durable. It's metal, but at the same time, it's a very delicate piece of, like, equipment. I can't exactly just whack somebody. This thing has to be made out of adamantium, and the joints and the gears have to be even more durable to withstand the pressure and impact of just slamming it into a bunch of dudes. Do you know how intense, like, how thick the human skull is? It's not like just hitting plastic, okay? This thing is pretty thick, So, some guys, she whacks somebody in the face with it, and she's wicked fast, and then eventually she moves to attack somebody else with it, and then he actually manages to block it with his staff, and the guy's just like, I'm very confident in stick fighting. I joined this game because I was actually the #1 expert of this staff martial arts, but he doesn't even get to finish this sentence because he's all boasting of how badass he is because, of course, it's a tripod, so Wolfina just, like, pulls the switch and just thwick, thwacks that guy in the back of the face. Right away this thing has to be modified insanely because these things have to, like, I guess double hinged in order to just, like, flip directly over and swack this guy in the face. Not to mention the fact that the force that it would require for this guy just to, like, hit him that hard to knock him out. Like, this thing has to be like a jet-propelled freaking tripod. But some people will be thinking that's crazy. Like, oh my god, she's using a tripod as a weapon. Are you fucking serious? Like, this is like freaking kiddie shit. If you actually think about it, I mean, not only is it's like a really intricate staff weapon. I mean, not this one specifically, but Wolfina's specially modified one. She, of course, changed it so it could be battle ready as well. So she's got all these interesting little things. You can flip things out. So it's not like a staff. It's like a mechanized staff. It's a pretty cool weapon. So Gamma, Gamma's taking some of these guys out too, but because there's just an absurd number of them. But at the same time, she just looks over at Wolfina, who's just kicking a bunch of ass, and Gamma's just like looking like, holy crap, how is this chick that strong? And this is one scene. She actually grabs one of the dudes she was beating the shit out of, and she's like striking another epic pose, but because she has her giant like fun bags right here, I'm gonna be making a shit ton of boob jokes whenever she's on screen, so I'm just prepping you for that one. Although luckily boobs is like one of the most has the most synonyms, like most words for it, so that'll be a fun thing. Let's just throw in like a whole bunch of words every episode. But anyway, she grabs him and just shoves him into her freaking bosom, and just being like, I've been waiting for men like you to see the pictures and abandon until you lost men, until you defeat you. So basically, she knew that men would leave her gang, this guy's gang, Sacramento, and she was basically just leading them around this desert area until enough guys dropped out, so she would have enough, she could fight these guys on even turf. So, clever move right there, until Sacramento just pulls out, a fucking gun, because he has that, and he starts shooting at her, but luckily Gamma's got her back, because Gamma just shows up and just blocks it with his awesome harm. Here's my question, though. What did she expect to happen if Gamma wasn't there? Because her plan was revolving around just leading around. She didn't even expect Gamma to be there, and even though she knew Gamma was there now, she didn't freaking know he has like an armored right arm that could just stop a bullet. Under normal circumstances, Wolfina's just like looking like this, like she was about to get hit. What was she planning on doing? Blocking it with her tripod? Okay, if that's the case, why didn't she pull up her tripod? So yeah, Gamma wasn't there, you'd be dead. But anyway, Gamma blocks the shot and, crushes it in his hand. And he's just like, no matter how strong you are with that tripod, it's a gun. You can't win against a fucking gun. And Gamma doesn't even get to finish his sentence because Wolfina just pulls another switch, shoots the entire lower, base of the tripod like a freaking bullet, and shoots him directly square on, and the three prongs, hit him, and they push him back, and he falls off his vehicle, and he hits the ground, and he gets sent like 20 feet. And she's just like, oh yeah, bullseye, bitch. So I don't know, like a gas-propelled freaking tripod or something. I don't know what the hell this thing is made of, but yeah, that's the end of the chapter, and freaking cool. Gamma's expression says it all right there. Just like, dude, bitch be nuts. But yeah, so I'm liking Wolfina's character, like, right now, and it's not for the reason you think. Although those are two amazing bonuses right there. But yeah, she seems like more of like how just how people, like how I would be in a fight, not really all serious like Gamma and even Smith. I mean, Smith is a little bit more playful, but basically when there's a fight, he knows how to be serious. With Wolfina, it's just like a game to her, but she knows she has to win. She knows she can't just let her down and be defeated, but she has fun with it. She doesn't take, the guys are just being like, what are you doing, fight seriously, and she's just like, no. I mean, she uses a tripod for a weapon. How seriously can you take her? But she just seems like a more fun character. She seems more bubbly, and you need your female character in a group. Any main group of a manga, you have to throw in at least one female character. I would go on and say I hope that Kubo adds another female character, just because the whole thing goes like, look at One Piece. Straw Hats have 9 members, only 2 of them are female. Bleach, all they have is Orihime. Naruto, all they have is, well, Sakura and Hinata at the beginning. Them characters. Well, really only Sakura at the beginning. It's just you don't get to see more female main characters in a role. Than that. So, but regardless of that nitpick, I hope we get to know more about Wolfina's personality and how she's exactly. Because I know she's going to join up with Gamma. I mean, she took up a big part of the front page, so I know she's going to be a main character. I'm just interested in knowing just a little bit about her personality. I mean, we just met her, and I'm liking her already. I really am. So, hope you guys enjoyed this chapter, and yeah. So I'm going to go now, and I'm going to modify this thing a lot, because she just gave me some pretty damn good ideas. See ya. So first things first, I'm going to need 30 feet of wire and something that can hold a 30 amp charge. Oh